This week I'm here with Miguel Galluzzi, motorcycle designer extraordinaire, and we're going to talk bikes past, present and also future. Welcome to RideApart. I'm excited today. We're here to see Miguel Galluzzi. Now this gentleman, he's responsible for designing the Ducati Monster, the Aprilia Dorsoduro, the Aprilia RS V4, and now he's with Moto Guzzi. How are you?
How are you?
Fantastic, you?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Nice to see you.
And you, I've got some beautiful motorcycles here.
Ready to ride.
Ready to ride, eh? All motorcycles should be ready to ride.
Absolutely.
Your love for motorcycles goes back quite a long way.
Oh, in my case, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Long way. I think I was 8, and my brother and I, we are, a year apart. So he was born the 25th of October and I was born the 26th. I am older, so there is one day that we are the same age. So the birthday party were the same day. And I was hoping to get a drum set because I wanted to be a drummer. Instead, my uncle gave us a motorcycle, a 50cc something there. And we were really disappointed because, we were really wanted, drums. And from that moment on, we never stopped. My brother still races bikes, in Argentina, and I've been involved with bikes since then. We grew up racing in the 70s. Motocross was the big thing in 72, 73, 74, until 78. Then from that moment on, I wanted to design things, to invent. I just finished, the military service in Argentina in the 70s, and it was during the desaparecidos story there. So I was 18, 19, and I said, I'm gonna leave this country because it's a mess. And I went to Florida to study mechanical engineering there, and they discovered Art Center. Started reading English and started understanding a little bit more what's the war about. And I discovered this school and then transfer.
Wow.
And that's it.
What a journey. So your first experience with motorcycles really must have touched you deep, because from there, of not knowing anything about motorcycles, it became part of your entire...
No, the problem, and it was a problem, my family, the day I was born, my father was racing a motorcycle. 4 days after, that's I discovered my last trip to Argentina. 4 days after I was born, he won a big motorcycle race that with that money he could take me out of the hospital. So this was in November 1st, 1959, he won the race. And I was born in a family that, my grandfather used to race motorcycles. Harley Davidsons in 1916, 1920s. I have some pictures someplace, but then my father, started bicycling and then motorcycling and then racing. So I was born in this family, so there was, even though I wanted to be a drummer, a musician, I end up, doing what I was not planning to do. The funny part was my uncles and father raced road racing. The new thing in the 70s was motocross. So there was like a culture clash, because there will be road racers and, leather things, and we will be motocross, dirt and all, whatever. So that was the only part that we were separated from what they've been doing, for quite a long time.
Dirt biking, you're always having fun dirt biking. It's not quite the same, is it?
Oh, the good part about, motocross at that time, and I think it still is like that, is when you gather with some friends and then you go riding, In our case, we will go to these areas that you can ride, that was not actually a track, but we would just ride, maybe a whole Sunday, from morning to night, until you couldn't breathe anymore. But it was the fun part of, going and jumping and killing yourself too, because you would go down or whatever it is. What's the fun part of it?
And that's where you learn skills as well on the dirt and learn how to ride. Makes it easier for the road as well.
Yeah, especially when you are falling down, you start understanding that you can do something else and not hit the ground.
What is the message that's been presented now? Because it's like you said, it seems like all of the fun has been taken out of motorcycling.
Oh, yeah.
Now, motorcycling is one of the most fun things we can do on the planet. So the message is not...
But that's part of what we have lost in the last, 10 years maybe, or 15. What I say is we become too intelligent for our own sake. We are so smart that, we are doing, the wrong stuff. Especially in motorcycling, we, as I said, look at advertisement today, and it doesn't make sense. Even the cover of Cycle World this month, as I was telling you before, if you see the amount of plastic that motorcycle has, plastic means, there is some pieces that are covered something else. In the end, do we need all that? No, because if we want to commute, we can get, a scooter, and it does smarter. Do we have to ride, maybe travel? Where are you going to go? Maybe you need another type of bike. Are you going to go enjoy the ride, just for the sake of it? You don't need all that stuff.
So how have we gone from the enjoyment of motorcycling, which we saw there back in the 50s and 60s and even into the 70s, to where we are now with plastic-looking motorcycles that look like they can all do 200 miles an hour?
How did we go?
How did we get so far? How did we get there?
Not understanding what motorcycling is all about.
And what, in your opinion, is motorcycling all about?
Is to enjoy the ride. That's is the simplest, most idiot thing to think about. In any condition, because you can go riding in the desert, you can go riding in the mountains, you can go riding in the city, you can even commute. And when you commute and you understand that the streets are not full of cars and there is a lot of space that is not being used, then you understand that it's more fun to commute in whatever, you have two wheels.
Are you trying to get that across in your designs, bringing back the fun element and the...
To me, as I always said, in my profession as a designer, I always try to be simple designs that are strong, because they have, like we were saying with some friends, there is design and there is design with soul. Soul lasts forever. This friend of mine yesterday night, got some pictures of Figoni and Fallaci cars from the 30s. And there are things that you see today and, your breath is taken away by something that is 80, 100 years old. And that is good design because it lasts forever. What we were saying about the plastic part of today's bikes, plastic is is the easy way out. So in the end, these pieces of plastics right now, and this is something we discovered with the Guzzi, the side panel there is aluminum. Right. It costs less than the same part painted. Wow. In plastic.
Wow. But you see, plastic on motorcycles, for me, only really belonged on dirt bikes, because I grew up with the influence of a father who had British motorcycles in his garage, a BSA Gold Star and that kind of motorcycle. And I grew up seeing a motorcycle that was beautiful in design, very simple in design as well, but everything on there had a purpose.
I always remember the guys who used to design Nortons in 40s and 50s. I read the horse history, that their mind, and these were craftsmen, they were not designers or engineers, they were people that were really there with the tape. Each piece has to be fast. That's what I remember they were thinking, every part that they would do has to be fast.
I don't know how you feel, but your wife rides, and there isn't that many bikes that appeal to women either, are they?
That's for example, one good story, success story about the Monster for Ducati, that was a lot of women got into motorcycling because of that. And not because it was, fastest or whatever. The 600 Monster was great because, as I said before, they could get into the bike and the 2 feet were flat on the ground.
Yes.
And that makes you know a sensation of, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah. And how is it working with the Italians? Because they're very passionate people and you've designed some incredible motorcycles for them.
My experience, for example, in Cagiva, there's 18 years in Cagiva, we have done, you know, maybe 400 bikes. Maybe 5 went in production. Right. But just to keep, you know, the mind working ahead and trying things, you know, that maybe you throw away. But not spending a lot of money, that's the point. You know, maybe we will do it in foam and do something that you throw it away. And then you go to something else. That gives you, you know, like windows, you know, that you open, okay, we're gonna see this. No, this doesn't work. We're gonna do that. And then you keep on trying until you find something that is right.
So that's evolution also, everything is moving forward.
But it works, you know, from the guts.
Yes.
It doesn't work, you know, from, you know, specific planning. Specific planning works sometimes, but it's more related to products of big productions.
And were you really trying to get a cafe racer look from this, or did it just evolve that way as you were putting pen to paper?
You know, in Guzzi, the V7 Sport from the 70s is an icon. And this didn't want to be like that because that was a big bike, a super bike at that time, even though it was the same size as this. That's what to me Guzzi represented in these kind of bikes, you know, like a Le Mans. You know, the Le Mans was already an evolution of the V7, but that was a very simple and it gives you, when you see it today, even today, you know, it gives you, oh, that's a nice bike. So trying to get that inspiration in this kind of, you know, this motorcycle was one of our consideration.
So what about the future? Yeah. What about motorcycles in the future? Where are we going to go?
The future is bright. Let's go over there. No, the future, that's the fun part, as I said, you know, because we are thinking everything, all different parts of what the future could be. And to me, you know, goes, you know, through the simple stuff that you can enjoy the ride. It could even be electric, you know, with an electric battery or whatever.
When I ride the motorcycle in an electric motorcycle, I am actually totally enjoying the entire experience. Because I'm still riding a motorcycle, I have handlebars, I'm in control, it does what I want it to do, but there's something missing.
The noise is another type of noise, which is not the noise I like.
Not for me. I
feel
like
you like. But that's the change, the big generational change. I mean, these 20-something people have grown up, you know, with the PlayStation with a noise which is not the regular noise. Doesn't make it better, or it's just like that. So you're gonna still enjoy the ride. You're gonna still be able to ride without going into the gas station, and having your bike, you know, or whatever it is that you're gonna have, in a different way.
Fancy going for a ride?
Yeah, why not? Let's go.
Wow, what a fascinating day. Hasn't it been incredible getting into this man's mind? It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant listening to you and you know, really getting the whole concept of your design and what you feel about motorcycles.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Thank you, Jamie.
All the best.
Yeah.
And thank you for the espresso.